And after that, I'd love to mention one or two other cannabis bills myself.
I'll address this question to all three of the legislators. I'm being addressing the whole room. That's
Yeah, we can all hear you.
Hello there. My name is Cynthia Soma Hernandez. Ooh, with permission, I have a question for all three legislators. I'd like to know if any of you, with all your legislation, have any ideas that present this to the question for the state legislature. Is there any legislation or are there any proposals that present to the state legislature the concept that perhaps Maine could benefit from industrialized hemp? The production of it, the production of other materials from it, just a study exploring the economic feasibility of industrialized hemp in the state of Maine that would benefit our farmers, our trade school students.
Yeah.
I envision someday that we could have, perhaps in the town of Detroit, Maine, where Chimbro is, our students could be there producing 3D, using 3D printers and producing hemp mobiles, maybe 10 years from now. But I'm wondering if anybody in the state legislature envisions something for the future of our youth that involves industrialized hemp and would combat what's happening with CMP. End of question. Thank you.
So, I don't know of any bills in right now. I do remember, and I'm not sure what the state of the industry around hemp right now is in Maine, but I do remember years back we did pass legislation to legalize it in Maine. Because I'll always remember the day in the Senate Republican caucus when Senator Edgecombe from Aroostook County, who was chairing the Agriculture Committee at the time and who was a supporter of industrialized hemp, always remember the day he came into caucus and he handed out like hemp like seeds that you could like for food that you could like chew on, and just like some of the Senate Republicans looking at this, particularly one who was a former DARE officer who was a little not too pleased. Anyway, so I'm not sure what would be needed from a legislative standpoint beyond. I mean, I know it's legalized now. I think I've heard over the years kind of some industry coming in and doing hemp growing, but I don't really know what the state of all that is. I'd welcome more information. If there are things that we need to do to open up the market more or to make it more free market oriented or attract more investment in for this, I'm open to ideas, but I guess I'd need to hear more.
Yeah, I mean, the list just came out today. I'm trying to go through it, so I don't really know for certain. Like Eric said, I mean, we had fields with hemp grown in Worcester County at least 2 years ago. I didn't know what the hell it was at the time. I thought it was potato plants that had missed bad. It was really, but I'm the same way. I mean, I've always been supportive. I mean, but I don't know if somebody has something. I don't.
Yeah, no, hemp's legal in Maine, and I think maybe some of the steam was taken away. You know, we passed a bill, but then I believe it was the federal farm bill 3, 4, 5 years ago that legalized it nationwide, and I think that took a little wind out of our sails because when you can grow year round and not have to worry about winter, then it's a little bit cheaper to produce that hemp. And but of course you see hemp everywhere now and CBD everywhere, which is hemp, and obviously, and I think it's important that we should also focus, maybe on Maine hemp and knowing where your hemp came from. I feel like there's a lot of 7-Eleven products with CBD in it, and who knows, how that was produced, how much hemp is it, kind of feels like a little snake oily with the CBD these days. So at least whenever I buy some CBD tinctures for my neighbor's dogs, and I always make sure I get like Leo's Recovery CBD and get a trusted source for that stuff. But it would be cool to have a 3D printed house from hemp, as many folks know. hemp was grown by our founders. It's a really strong fiber. It was in Henry Ford's first Model T, I believe. So,
And first drafts of the Declaration of Independence, right?
yeah, leave it to Eric for the history lesson.